I call John Ursula Ward, the mother of Odin Ward. Thank you, so please.
Just stand right here.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning.
First and foremost, I would like to thank the jurors. I would like to thank everyone for all their concerns and all their support and everything. And I thank God for being here this morning. My name is Ursula Ward, Odin Lloyd's mother. Odin was the firstborn of 3 children. Odin was my only son. Odin was the backbone of the family. Odin was the man of the house. Odin was his sister's keeper. Olivia and Shaquila Thibault. And after my daughter Olivia had her daughter Sanaya, Odin became Sanaya's keeper also. Odin attended every one of Sanaya's recital. Odin was Sanaya's biggest supporter in all aspects of her life. Olivia and Shaquila had 2 sons, Amari and Chancellor, who would never know their uncle Odin. Odin would have taught them to be like him, to have respect and manners to everyone, and to play his favorite sport, football. Odin gave me a beautiful gift before he was murdered, and that was introduce me to his girlfriend, Shania. Odin was my first best gift I ever received. I thank God every second and every day of my son's life that I spent with him. The day I laid my son Odin's life to rest, I felt my heart stop beating for a moment. I felt like I wanted to go into that hole with my son, Odin. I will never have a grandchild from my son or grandchildren. I will never get to dance at his wedding. He will never ever get to dance at my wedding. I will never hear my son saying, "Mommy Dukes. Ma, did you cook? Ma, go to bed. Ma, you're so beautiful. Where are you going, Ma? Did you get my permission to go out? I love you, Ma." I miss my baby boy Odin so much. But I know I'm going to see him someday again. And that is giving me the strength to go on. We wear purple in this courtroom every day because it's my son's favorite color. I forgive the hands of the people that had a hand in my son's murder, either before or after. And I pray and hope that someday everyone out there will forgive them also. May God continue to bless us. Thank you. Thank you.
I would ask you to call Vaughn Samuel, Odin Lloyd's uncle, please.
Morning. Morning. First, I'd like to thank the jury. Thank everybody who worked on the case. My nephew Odin was brought into my life he was the age of 2 years old, and he has been with me ever since. He meant a lot to me, to see how he grew, the respect he had. Toughest thing for me is that I won't get to see him have a child and to treat that child like he did my own. My son Zion called him uncle. The way he interact with him, special to me. The way he treat his friends, his family, especially his sisters. From the age of 4, he had a big stature, and so everyone knew Shaquilla and Olivia. You do something, you gotta see him. And just the way he cared for them was very special to me. You know, a lot of people won't see from the outside the value and the riches he had. It wasn't material, the wealth he possessed. You know, a lot of times we look on the outside and forget that inside of the person that they are. He was a great person. And I'm sorry for where I stand today. But I know that the amount of time I had with him was special, and he will always be with me. You know, the love he had for his mother, my sister, how strong she is. I just want everybody to know how good of a person he was. The smile he had on his face was that smile got him out of a lot of trouble with me, that smile. Just had to say, just go ahead, man. But he was a prideful guy. Never want you to give him anything without him earning it. The car that I drive today was my nephew's. Didn't want me to give it to him. He wanted to earn it. And so he ride his bike every day to work. Unless it's raining, he say, "Uncle, can I get a ride to the station?" If not, from Dorchester to Norwood, jump on his bike, and you go to work. Because that's the kind of family we are. We work for what we want. And so, thank everybody again. I appreciate my family, the support that we have from friends, from family. And that's the kind of wealth that he possessed, that so many people who knows him love him. When I tell you they love him. And so he was a very rich young man. And I'm sorry that I won't get to hold his kid and treat him like he treat mine. and all darkness must come to light. And I'm sorry that he was that light. But Jah will, and so it's set. And I thank you.
Your Honor, I'd like to call Olivia Thibault to address the court. She's the sister of Odin.
Good morning. My name is Olivia Thibault, and I am Odin Lloyd's sister. I am only 2 years younger than Odin, so I spent my whole entire life with him. He was the big brother that everybody would love to have. Today, my sister Shakila Thibault isn't here, so I'm going to speak on her behalf as well. These last couple of years has been the hardest time of our lives. At the age of 25, I was asked to write my brother's eulogy. The hardest thing I've ever done in my life. And I wrote it with a smile because I got to write all the great memories that I had of him. I got to tell everyone how he wore the same Adidas flip-flops for 12 years until there were no soles on them, until his feet were touching the ground. And as much as I asked him to buy him a new pair, he wanted those slippers to be his, and he wore them with pride. I got to sit in front of a congregation of people and talk about how my brother protected me and my sister, how he was such a great guy. I'd wake up in the morning sometimes and my car would be gone, and as soon as I get ready to get mad at him, he'll come home with it and my car's clean from the inside and the out. I got to tell people how great of a uncle he was, how he taught my daughter how to ride her bike. It doesn't feel like Odin's not here. It just feels like just a bad dream. And I'm stuck between living and reality in this dream world where he's just not here and I haven't had the chance to speak to him. Odin called me every day. And if he didn't call me, he'd text me. And he'd call me at work and ask me what I'm doing. And the first thing I'd say is, Odin, I'm at work. What do you think I'm doing? I miss that, you know? When my nephew was born last year in March, the first thing I did is picked up my phone to call my brother, telling me I had a nephew. And even now, when my son was born, after hours of labor, I reached for my phone to text him to let him know he had another nephew. And he'll never get to meet them. And every day, I look at my son and my daughter, and my son will never know the uncle that my daughter got to meet. And like I said, it just feels like a bad dream. And I talk to my sister, and every day she tells me that she loves me, because I'll never get to tell my brother that. And I won't ever see him again, but I have to go to his gravesite to look at his tombstone, to tell him that I love him. I am grateful, always, for the man that Odin was. Because he was a man with pride. He was a hard-working man. And as everything started to unfold about him, I sat in his courtroom some days. I watched online every day I wasn't here. And I smiled because Odin was a great man. And all these things overshadowed the fact that he got up and he worked every morning. He rode his bike 10 miles. I would never do that. But he did, because he wanted to earn his. He wanted to make sure that what he got, he worked for. Odin was a great man, and I hate that I have to sit here and talk about him like this. I hate that he's not here. No, it's a great day today. It's awful, a painful day, because we still have to relive the fact that we are here for him. I see his picture on the news. I see my mom's tears, my family, and I can't console them like Odin would. The day we got the call that something happened to him, I just kept saying, this is not him. It's not him. We grew up in a neighborhood that wasn't the best, and he's avoided all these things. He was never in a gang. He never picked up guns. And this is how he died. But Odin was a good man, and I wish that everyone had the opportunity to meet him. And today, I said, on behalf of my sister and myself, to thank everyone who's worked on this case, to thank everyone who's reached out to us, who's prayed for us. I thank everyone in this court for all their hard work and the time that they put into this case. And I thank you guys for today. I thank God that we are here and smiling in some way. Thank you.
The last person I'd like to address the court is his cousin, Marcia Martin.
Good morning, Your Honor. 2 years, 3 months. It's the hardest time of my life. Watching my aunt having to come into this courtroom every day and hear and see the horrible things that happened to her firstborn son, the backbone of our family. But it gave me so much joy to see her strength and just for her to know she doesn't know how strong she really is. I sat here every day and I just thought she shouldn't be going through this. The family shouldn't be going through this. I don't know what tomorrow holds, but I know that Odin won't be there with us in body. There'll be weddings, there'll be graduations, there'll be holidays, and he won't be there. There'll be more children born, and Odin won't be there with them either. But we keep him in our hearts. He's forever in our thoughts. When my cousin passed away, Odin was the one that found some way to make us all laugh in a time that was so hard. Odin said, I don't know why you're worried. She doesn't have to pay taxes. She doesn't have to pay rent. She's okay where she's at. So in the words of Odin Lloyd, as long as I have life, I will smile. Legends never die. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, I think it's clear from the statements of the family members, Odin Lloyd was well loved. You saw that family sitting in the front row every day, and they were here because they believed in the process that brings us to today. The jury, having found the defendant guilty of murder in the first degree, for having committed an extremely cruel and atrocious killing. You heard the evidence that supported that verdict. It was brutal and it was senseless. So we'd ask, based on the finding of the verdict by this jury, that the defendant be sentenced to the state prison for the term of his natural life without any chance of parole. Thank you.
And on the remaining 2 sentences?
Your Honor, on possession of firearm, we would ask the court to impose a sentence of 4 to 5 years, concurrent with the life sentence without parole. And on the possession of ammunition, to 1 year House of Correction. That sentence deemed served.
Thank you. Counsel wish to speak.
Your Honor, we don't have anything to add. It's obviously the court needs to impose a statutory penalty on count one, and we leave the remaining counts in court's discretion.
Thank you. Clerk may impose a sentence.
Mr. Hernandez, an indictment BRCR 2013-0983-A, where you're charged with the crime of murder, the jury returning a verdict of murder in the first degree. And in consideration of the crime for which you now stand committed, you are sentenced by order of the court as follows. You are committed to the NCI Cedar Junction for the term of your natural life without the possibility of parole. On BRCR 2013-0983-B, where you were charged with the crime of unlawful possession of a firearm, after the jury finding you guilty and the court in consideration of the crime for which you now stand convicted, you are punished by imprisonment to MCI Cedar Junction for a term of not less than 2.5 years to not more than 3 years, committed concurrent with the life sentence imposed on count A. On BRCR 2013-0983-C, where you're charged with the crime of unlawful possession of ammunition, after being convicted by the jury, you now stand convicted, and in consideration of the offense for which you have now been convicted, you are sentenced to the House of Correction for a period of 1 year deemed served. Sir, you have the right to have your case reviewed by the Supreme Judicial Court. Pursuant to General Laws Chapter 22E, Section 3, you're required to supply a sample of your DNA to be included with the statewide DNA database. You're assessed a victim witness fee in the amount of $90, and you'll be given time credit for time spent in confinement pending disposition of this case. By agreement of the parties, time credit will start on the date of his arrest, which is
June 26, 2013.
June 26, 2013. At this point, sir, you stand committed and you're in the custody of the court officers pending execution of your sentence at the state prison.
Before he's removed, hold on just 1 second. With respect to the remaining charges, does it make sense to first see what date you're getting in Boston and then deal with the dates here? There are other charges in this case that were not tried as part of this case, and in addition, the two unrelated charges.
Yes, Your Honor, it makes sense to
Yes, Your Honor.
agree to a
Wait
date.
until see what happens in Boston. That's all right with the court.
Do you want to wait until that?
That's agreeable, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
He spoke about them as A, B, and C. They are originally 1, 2, and 6. I don't think that's a problem.
No, we thought at the beginning made it clear.
Yes, everyone understood what we referred to as. Yes, sir.
So,
Can you come up? Yeah.
Would all rise. Court's going to stand in recess.